tweet out something in response to Danon. Banner, not a name. What does that mean to you, and why did you use that hashtag?
We don't really have a strong theme, I guess, this year like Nebraska's had in the past. I'm a pretty big believer it's got to come naturally or I'm not going to force one. But I was telling the team that I feel like this team is built to put a banner on the wall, not a name. And I think sometimes we get obsessed with being an All-American or the individual accolades instead of the goal is to win a national championship. So that's where it came from. And I think it's huge for this team because there'll be players that could be All-Americans that they might not get as many sets as they have in the past, or maybe we're switching things up. So there's a lot of things out of our control when it comes to being an All-American. It feels like we're way more in control of if we can win a national championship or not.
Harper's hitting .314. How do you feel about that against the schedule you've played so far?
I feel great. Really good. So she's playing awesome. She looks really confident. Her back row attacks really come alive. So it's the challenge is always, can you be consistent, and can she play great against maybe an opponent that's not viewed quite so strong. And that's part of being mature and being a leader, but feels like she's well on her way.
How do you go about getting that team mentality to buy into? Is that something you're hammering every day, or how do you go get the buy-in from the team?
Just talking about it every day and then making sure that in practices and matches we're backing up what we say we're going to do as a staff. And, you saw that on Sunday. We made changes, and a lot of players are going to get opportunities.
Hey, Coach, on that note with the changes, you also got a lot of praise for the 2 timeouts you did in the 4th set to help stop the momentum. Is that something coming directly from you? Is that collaborative between all the different coaching staff to be able to do it in the moment?
Usually just from me, but occasionally I'll ask timeout here. But usually it's just a feel. I've definitely taken me a while to get better at calling timeouts. My mom used to try to call them for me from the stands. I would see her across the way in Louisville being like, timeout. So, anyways, then I'd maybe not want to call the timeout. But
how recent was that?
my first coaching year, first year as head coach. Love them, yeah.
I guess just how excited are you to be back here in Debani? It's week 3 of the season for you guys, and you haven't played technically on your home court yet. Just for the players' routine, but then also the fans as well.
Yeah, really excited to be back, and haven't really been in here since the spring when we played Kansas. We had the alumni match, which was sort of similar, but no, excited to get back in our routine and just the home court advantage and everything that goes with playing at Vanny.
As a coach, do you get a chance to breathe a little bit after playing 3 top 10 teams and 4 matches to start the year at all?
Yeah, I feel like it was interesting, though, playing those teams right away because really none of them we had film on except for last year because, week 0 there was no film, and then Kentucky, their first game was against Lipscomb. So it wasn't like we were sitting around just watching film after film after film of our opponent. So it was a unique feeling to play against great teams without that preparation. So I guess I feel like I've been breathing just fine. Hasn't felt like an overload, but I feel like there's a little bit more pressure now too to really figure out some things. When you're going up against those top teams, it's like anything can happen. It's going to be close games. Now it's like, okay, now we got to start ironing some things out and, again, figuring out lineups and changes we can make and certain rotations, what we can do.
Dani, as much as players can be loose and enjoy the moment when they get down 2 sets to none, how much did you see your team doing that on Sunday and throughout the first 2 weeks? How do you assess just their ability to enjoy the moment?
I think they've been doing an incredible job. I didn't feel tight at all against Kentucky. It didn't feel like the team was worried. They had that look in their eyes like they were confident. There was never any poor body language. Even after we made changes, it was all really positive, and so that's a sign of a great team, and they're starting to buy into that. It's going to take all of us to be where we want to be in December, but I've been really, really impressed with the way they've handled pressure.
What do you see from Lainey in particular in the way she played in those last 3 sets after you made the change?
Just, really amazing job by her. I think that's tough, and I feel like we put some players in tough situations where you get the libero jersey taken off, but then you come out and you play great. And we don't win really any games. We probably could, but not high-level games without both Lainey and Liv. And we're going to continue to need them both playing great all season. So I was really, really proud of both of them because I thought it was a tough situation, and they handled it mentally really, really well. And that paid off physically.
I think you also used Skylar just that one rotation where the opposite stuck on the left pin too. I mean, is that a tough situation for her to come in and play that half of rotation? And what do you like about her in that position? Yeah,
and we had never talked to her about doing that. It wasn't something we had thought about prior to the game, but just felt like it made a lot of sense in the moment. I think Kentucky missed their serve almost every time Skylar came in, so she never even got a chance to hit it, which was kind of a bummer. But yeah, I think that's a very hard situation to be in because she knows she's probably also going to get a high ball if she gets set, which is going to be tough to kill.
When you have a substitution situation like you did with the libero after the second set, and it's so obvious because they switched, you're switching jerseys. How do you move forward with that in the practice gym? And is it a conversation that you have about who wears that on Friday?
Yeah, I'm a pretty big believer that you're not going to lose the starting position based off one performance, and you're not going to win one based off one performance. So we'll continue to evaluate those guys. But I also think sometimes a change might happen, and it's not directly at one of them. Maybe the passing, the matchups weren't great with servers, and that's what's awesome about having 2 great liberos is you can mix it up and feel like you're not going to miss a beat. I mean, Kentucky was in a groove serving-wise, and felt like that change maybe makes all their servers think about where am I going to serve, what zone am I going to hit, and I think it caught them a little bit off guard because their serving got a little worse as the longer the game went on.
When you have a true freshman make a hustle play like Terea did, how does that speak to, I guess, just the hunger of the group and just someone who got here a couple months ago is going all out like that?
Yeah, that was a pretty awesome play to get the crowd on their feet. The gym felt, it was 11 a.m., so it felt a little dead, and that got the place rocking. So I think it just sets the standard, like she's going to go all out like that, then there's no reason why everybody else can't match that effort.
Harper was saying that you're not a fan of tipping, but she says she's having some success with it, so it's tough. I mean, how does that balance for you as a coach where you hate it, but if a player feels confident, how do you balance that?
Well, it better work. So it's what I want to tell her, and it is funny. She gets a couple tip kills, and she'll look at the bench and give me a "I told you so" smile. So I think it's just being aggressive with your tipping and making sure that, and when we are tipping, that there's a purpose. It's not because we're scared or because we can't take a swing on it. And Harper's done a really good job of using the whole court, and I think that's a big part of her success is to scout her has got to be pretty difficult because you literally have to scout everything.
Trey doesn't get to take a lot of swings in her role right now. She hasn't been in the front that often, but what's kind of the path forward for her in terms of figuring out how to be more impactful as an attacker when she gets those opportunities?
She's got to kill balls. So, I think she's young and she's not the biggest player on the court, so she's going to have to work hard to get kills. So she does a great job in practice, and we'll continue to push her, put her in tough situations in practices so she can get more and more comfortable in matches.
When you do make substitutions, what goes into the decision-making process? Is that a collaborative thing between you and the assistant, or who's making those calls?
It depends. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I'm just going off my gut, and so it's a mix of both. I'm pretty big of trusting my gut, especially making subs, and when you have a deep team, it feels a lot easier to do that. But and then occasionally I'll get input from the assistants, like what should we do here, and a lot of times it's just like verifying what I'm feeling. Like, hey, I'm going to do this. You guys good with that? And sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, or they might say, well, let's give it a little more time. So it's a little mix of both.
Favorite non-volleyball thing you guys did in Nashville?
Non-volleyball thing. We didn't really get to do that much, but I was the first road trip I brought my 3-year-old on, so that was pretty fun, and he survived. He might get to go again. So
Did you do anything for Jalen's birthday?
no, we not yet. I think we're gonna go to lunch this week. There's a ton of birthdays on staff. I think I'm the only one that doesn't have a birthday this month, so we'll do a team lunch or a staff lunch this week.
Did you expect that Olivia would probably get to be libero at some point during the season?
Yeah. Well, I mean, whether it was to rest for injury because we needed to switch things up, I definitely assumed she was going to be libero at some point.
All right, thanks everybody.
All right, thanks guys.